In this segment of Face the State, we're talking about one of the most exciting things that's come along, at least for me personally, in a long time. Now, as many of you know, I'm a history buff, and we constantly discuss Nevada history and political history of the United States on this show. We've also talked about World War II veterans before. We're going to do a little bit more of that today, but we're going to throw in veterans from probably Korea, maybe Vietnam, some other things. A wonderful program that probably many of you have never heard of, but is one of the greatest things that I could possibly think of. It's called Honor Flight, just to get you ready for this conversation. Let's take a look at this.
Potentially, it's the last time we're going to have this type of a welcome. I think it's time that we recognize the people that pay such a sacrifice, that we can be here at this hotel and send them off. I think it's just fantastic that the community has pulled together to do this.
A salute and a send-off. 10 tiny steps to the bus. These are great strides for veterans who otherwise might not have seen their memorial.
My father and both of the gentlemen that are with him from the VA are both in wheelchairs. This is just something that he would never have been able to do without this opportunity.
Family and fraternity brothers who helped finance the trip didn't need reveille to get up in the middle of the night.
And I got up at 1 o'clock this morning. Oh, I'm very excited.
Bob Howell.
35 Mid-Missouri World War II veterans on board, as well as a doctor, nurses, and 25 guardians, including an unexpected guest named Murphy. Murphy's Law.
We're right on schedule, right up to the point that the bus broke down at Kingdom City.
A belt broke on the bus, and at 4 in the morning, the veterans and guardians found themselves without a ride to the St. Louis airport.
Yeah, Kilroy was here.
And just when it appeared as if the very first honor flight was out of gas,
I really had to start having doubts whether we'd make it.
a replacement bus.
Let's head him up, move him on.
That plane's not going to leave until you guys are on it.
A glimmer of hope beamed through the bus windows.
Everybody needs to have their photo ID ready to go.
The veterans held tight to the possibility of making it.
Close to the wire.
But this group of 60 and their wheelchairs still had to make it through security. That's when Honor Flight volunteer Ted Jacobs made a personal plea to the pilot.
We got 3 or 4 gentlemen coming in chairs.
Well, I kept asking Sharon for mile markers to find out where you were.
Captain James Scully held the plane and its 50 other passengers so the Honor Flight veterans could board.
I was 22 years Air Force.
Okay, just in
Yes,
case you're wondering
Scully.
out there, the story goes on for quite a while, but what this is, we're going to discuss with our guest today, John Jespa, who is joining us. He's just relocated to this area from Baltimore. This, as you explained it to me, and as we started to see there, and I got goosebumps when you told me about the plan, when I saw this and some other stuff that you have sent me. This is a program where you go get veterans, well, in the past it's always been from World War II, but
Correct.
you get them now from all the wars,
Correct.
who may never have a chance to go back and see their memorials in Washington, and you give them the ride back there.
Absolutely.
To celebrate. Tell us about it.
Well, it's designed to honor all veterans. World War II veterans are given the preference because of their health and their age and the priority. We have other veterans from other combats coming along. There are veterans that just volunteer and they act as guardians and go. The World War II veterans get their chance to see their World War II memorial that they haven't ever seen, and there's a whole process. I mean, it's a great trip. They're thanked, they're treated like rock stars, and they're surprised. They don't understand, a lot of them, what it's all about, because they did what they did at that era, just that's what you did. They left work.
That was their job.
Absolutely, and they came back and just went right back to work and never really talked about it. You hear stories from some of these ladies and gentlemen that they haven't talked about in 40, 50 years, and they'll, even if they haven't met some of their friends and colleagues and soldiers that they served with, they have the same stories and they can talk about it to comrades that they can't talk to family and friends, neighbors. And people are so surprised about how many veterans are out there, especially from World War II. When they talk, they find out their grandparents.
Right.
They never knew their neighbors, their uncles, their old school teachers, stuff like that. So it brings it out in everyone. It's a full day trip. Just once they hit the ground in D.C., they get to see every memorial, the Air Force Memorial, the Vietnam Memorial, the World War II Memorial. Dignitaries greet them. There's police and fire, escorts the whole way, and they don't know what's going to happen. They don't expect it. They're just happy. They get a trip that's provided. There's no tax money. There's no money derived from the veterans themselves. It's a gift.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's all from donations and volunteers and fundraising. So everything soup to nuts is covered. Hotels, the airplane. They get some uniforms, shirts and stuff like that. Their meals, everything's provided, and it's a lifetime experience for everybody involved.
A lot of these guys probably have never seen the nation's capital.
Absolutely, that's correct.
That they came that close to dying for, and for the rest of us. They've never had and they would never have the opportunity to see it.
And they're so humble that they don't feel they've missed anything. They don't feel they've been slighted. They don't say that they have never been thanked.
Right.
They did what they felt they wanted and needed to do, and we're all fortunate for that. And this is, a thank you, and it's a way to show them everything that people appreciate, the freedoms and when they go to D.C., the entire day is why me? What have I done? They're just they don't understand that people hold them in so much respect and honor. What their sacrifices have been. For students that get involved with this program, whether it's high school or college, I've gotten my niece and nephew involved, and it's amazing because it's history. It's walking, living history.
Sure it is.
Part of the program, when these veterans get involved, they are asked in questionnaire as far as their health and their service record and stuff like that. But the reason they ask more of the service record is they get a short bio. And everyone is encouraged to talk to them because it's communication. It makes them feel good, but it draws out what they've wanted to talk about and they haven't.
Right.
So you hear stories that maybe no one's ever heard before. They meet other soldiers that are with them that they find out that they've never met this soldier and they lived 1,000 miles away, but in Normandy they were 2 blocks away for a year, and they have stories, and it's
and that probably a lot of these guys are going to talk about things with their comrades or their new comrades that they would never have discussed with their families.
Correct. Stuff that they've just kept bottled up, things they've seen, that the great things that they might not want to share with family, or private issues, or just the gory or stuff that they've compartmentalized and put away, that it gets very emotional, and it's just you're able to walk, for me and other people, to walk through history from somebody that's been there, and it's you can see the movies, and that's not the same as
it's you can see pictures of Washington, and I was just in Washington a couple of weeks ago doing some live shots. Until you're actually there, you never know. Now this program is new to us here. It's very active on the East Coast and down in the Texas area. We're going to talk more about that in a moment, more how you can get involved. But it has picked up some major league support from the White House on down. As a matter of fact, you might recognize this guy who has jumped in to try to help. Let's see this.
World War II defined us as a nation. In May of 2004, we celebrated the veterans of this war with the dedication of a National World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. Honor Flight is a non-profit organization whose sole purpose is to fly veterans to visit the memorial dedicated in their honor. Honor Flight has flown nearly 20,000 veterans to the memorial and has a waiting list of over 7,000. It is to these brave Americans to whom we owe a debt of gratitude. But our time to say thank you is running out. Honor Flight is our way of paying tribute to those who gave so much. To make a tax-free donation, please call the number on this screen or visit honorflight.org. Please join me in supporting our World War II veterans and Honor Flight. Thanks.
If you didn't happen to recognize that guy, of course, that's Clint Eastwood, probably one of the greatest living film directors of our time, and actors, of course. And he's just one of many. Tracy Atkins and a bunch of other people, and you said before the White House. We're going to run out of time.
Okay.
But I want to make clear right now that you're only asking for people to help get this organized. You're not asking for money right
now. Correct. We need a team. We need some people to help us. We're putting together fundraisers. We still have to do the final paperwork on some of the charity stuff, so we need some board members. It's just a matter of volunteering time. That's all we're looking for to help. Just there's going to be a process when the veterans apply. We have to screen them. We're already getting the information. It's just becoming overwhelming. So it's a matter of just getting some help and some support from locals.
And while we're talking about what you can do, these are these wonderful people that just gave it their all, and they're having this once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I keep going back to that thought that many of them fought and died for this and never had a chance to see it. And before we lose them, we're losing World War II veterans, the greatest generation, as Tom Brokaw called them, at the rate of 1,000 a day. And anything we can possibly do for them. We have information on how you can get in touch with John. We would like to show you that as well. There's a website that you can go to, and here it is. It's John Jespa, Honor Flight Nevada, or nv.org, and there's a phone number. We will have it here for you too. This is Baltimore. They have these flights, just tons of them, only about a minute left. If you're going to leave the audience with anything, what would it be?
Go to the website, watch some of the videos, whether it's YouTube or on our site or the national site. They're tear-jerkers. You'll find that when you ask around, you'll meet friends, family, relatives that were there, and it'll open your eyes up to a whole different generation and see them in a different perspective.
Why so much passion from you?
Most of my family has been in the military, and I've been around military, East Coast, wherever you turn. It's a respect, you know, and when you find out what these guys and women have done.
John, thank you so much for sharing this with us.
My pleasure.
Keep us up to date. We will keep the audience up to date. This is something that everybody needs to get behind.
Thank you.
John, thank you very much. This is Face the State.